and welcome to another episode of the 50 Years of Coptic History in Australia series. I'm Bishoy Basilius. Today I'm joined by His Grace Bishop Daniel, the Bishop for the Diocese of Sydney and its affiliated regions. Welcome, Your Grace.
Welcome, Bishoy.
Now, Sydney was without a diocese for over 30 years from when Father Mina Namatala was sent to serve the Coptic diaspora here by the late Pope Carlos VI in 1969, but by the grace of God, on the 23rd of June 2002, you were ordained by the late Pope Shenouda III as the first bishop for what became the new Sydney Diocese. Tell us about how that came about.
Okay, the story starts from the late His Eminence Metropolitan Daniel of Khartoum. I was serving with His Eminence as the Vicar General of the Diocese of Khartoum, and I used to attend the meetings of His Eminence Metropolitan Daniel, may God repose his life and his soul, his meetings with His Holiness Pope Shenouda III. And I was the one who used to prepare all the documents that His Eminence is going to discuss with His Holiness. So from, I think the beginning, this is the beginning, that His Holiness knew me through the late His Eminence Metropolitan Daniel. The second stage came when my family immigrated from Khartoum to Adelaide. So my father was sick after immigration, and I was serving with, after the departure of His Eminence Metropolitan Daniel, His Grace Bishop Anthony requested His Holiness Pope Shenouda that I serve with him as a Vicar General of the Diocese of Scotland, Ireland and North East United Kingdom. While I was serving in Newcastle upon Tyne with His Grace Bishop Anthony, my father here was sick. So I took the permission of His Grace Bishop Anthony and I visited Adelaide. Just, I think, not more than 1 week. But I spent 2 weeks, 2 days here in Sydney because I have many relatives, you know. And one of my relatives introduced me to Father Tadros Simon, the parish priest of St. Anthony and St. Paul in Guildford. And Father Tadros Simon invited me to pray while I was a priest named after Father Mittaus Antoni. So Father Tadros invited me to pray the Divine Liturgy in his church. And after this, I went back to the Diocese of Scotland and Ireland with Bishop Anthony. And after this, what I recall that Bishop Armea, the secretary of His Holiness, late His Holiness Pope Shenouda, I was in the residence of His Grace Bishop Anthony. Both of us are in one house. So while His Grace Bishop Anthony is outside in the service, Bishop Armea called in the phone, landline, and he said, hello, how are you? I said, how are you, Your Grace? He said, where is Bishop Anthony? I said, he's outside, Your Grace. He said, okay, when he comes, tell him that he needs to call me. When he came, I told him to call Bishop Armea. It was, I think, before the ordination by 1 week. And he called him, but he didn't tell me anything, Bishop Anthony. And he said suddenly to me, Father Mittaus, you need to travel with me to Cairo, this Wednesday. I said, I'm the only priest of the church. The church in Newcastle upon Tyne is under the name of St. Athanasius Church, and I'm the only priest. No one can serve there because no one can cover the service. So I said to His Grace Bishop Anthony, who is going to cover me? He said, this is my business and you need to come with me. I said, okay, Sayyidina, for how long? Because I need to plan. He said, don't ask questions. You need to be obedient. I said, yes, Sir Grace, I will be obedient. I took just small things and luggage and I went to Cairo with His Grace. We arrived in the same day. And I remember, Bishoy, I attended the weekly homily or sermon of His Holiness Pope Shenouda in the great cathedral in Amberways And in the end, I was attending as a priest, yani. In the end, he made an announcement saying, after 3 days, and I was present, we are going to ordain the first Bishop of Sydney. I said, congratulations, because I didn't know that it is me. The people started to clap and they were very happy. When I returned back after the homily in the center of San Anthony Monastery in Cairo, in Claude Bay, Bishop Eustace, the abbot of San Anthony, San Anthony Monastery, in which I was ordained as a monk, I used to go there, to be there while I'm in Cairo. So he said to me, come with me tomorrow. I said, where? He said, we need to do something, yani. Okay, I said, okay, Sayyidina. So we went and to Helwan, you know Helwan, with Bishop Vicente, and he started to take some measures for the new clothes. I said, Sayyidina, I have clothes. He said, no, don't talk, yani. We have our own plans, yani. Don't ask many questions. I said, okay, as a monk, I used to be obedient, because this is one of the pillars of the monastic life. So before the ordination, by 48 hours or something like this, they told me, Bishop Eustace and Bishop Anthony now, they gathered together and said, you are going to be ordained Bishop of Sydney. I said, me? I didn't visit Sydney, it's just once, and I prayed one Mass. I said, this is the decision of the Holy Spirit and His Holiness, and you need to be obedient. And this is the story of my ordination.
Were you aware of the history of the Coptic community in Australia before that, or?
Let me say yes and no. Yes, because my family was aware and still in Adelaide.
Of course.
My oldest brother, my 2 sisters, and my father and mother passed away, and all my uncle and the rest of the relatives are there in Adelaide. So I used to come once, as I told you, but in Sydney I didn't know the Coptic community. I didn't know the churches. I know only St. Anthony Church and St. Paul in Guildford. But I heard good news about the Coptic community in Sydney, in Australia, because one incident happened to one of my friends, Gamal. Gamal is the brother of the Father Giorgio Sahmi, who was driving to the monastery of San Shenouda here, and he had an accident and he lost his son. So he called me, and from Gamal and from some of the relatives, I knew about the greatness of the congregation here in Sydney.
Was it difficult moving across the world to serve in a community that before you had never really, that had never had a diocese before? Was it difficult moving down here, or?
You know, Bishoy, it was not easy because I moved 3 times in my life. One from Khartoum to the monastery, then from the monastery to Khartoum back. Then from Khartoum to the Nuba Mountains, and this is a great story I will tell you if you have time. Nuba Mountains in Western Sudan, and then from Western Sudan to the monastery again, and from the monastery to the United Kingdom, and from United Kingdom to the monastery, and then from the monastery to Sydney. So I used to move on in my life. But at the same time, it's not easy to move from place to place. And even you need to know the culture of the people you are going to serve. You need to know their identity, their nature. So in the first 5 years I was studying the nature of human beings here, the Coptic people and the Australians as well. And it was not easy to get the experience, how to deal with people, how to understand them, how to know that you are in a first world country like Australia, and you need to know how to deal with many difficult and challenging issues.
Of course.
Let me tell you a story.
Okay.
It's a good story.
Okay.
You know, there is Father Matthew. I ordained Father Matthew as a priest.
Yeah, he's my
He's
uncle.
your uncle, yeah. And he invited me for one of the graduation ceremony of the youth. So I went. When I entered, I saw one of the youth that his hair is very big like this. It's not ordinary.
Yeah.
So I had a struggle inside myself. Should I talk to the youth or should I be silent? Then the struggle went for 3 minutes. Then I decided not to talk.
Yeah.
I said to myself, wait and see, don't talk. But from inside, I want to say, this is not right, son, to have this type of yani kida. In the end, I was right to be silent. Huh? In the end, Father Matthew said, now we are going to open the fundraising for the needy and poor in our brothers and sisters in Egypt. And I waited for the opening of the fundraising function. And the fundraising function was about each one who is going to cut some hair of this person is going to donate, for example, amount of money to the poor and needy in Egypt. And I saw a line of youth coming and cutting some of the hair and paying money. I said, okay, suppose you was talking about this, you will not be able to understand. So my advice to myself and to you, Bishoy, is to look and think and then try to act wisely. And this is one of the incidents that gave me lesson how to deal with the youth here. Don't try to condemn them, try to explain and wait, see. Be a friend for them.
Yeah, that's a great advice and a great story. Your Grace, it's been a pleasure talking to you today, and it's a blessing having you visit us here in the studio.
Thank you.
May God continue to bless your service and the Diocese of Sydney. We look forward to what we hope are memorable celebrations, and we hope to celebrate the next milestone of the Coptic Church in Australia with you as well.
Thank you, Bishoy, and thank you for CYC, and thank you for Father Bishoy Antoni.